You quit smoking, days turn into weeks, maybe even months. You're doing great, you feel proud of yourself, then something hard happens. A stressful situation at work, a relationship problem, a loss, something overwhelming, and suddenly there's a cigarette in your hand. You don't even know how it happened. You just found yourself smoking again. If this has happened to you, you're not alone. And in the next minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why cigarettes reappear during hard times, and more importantly, how to prevent it. So let's break it down. Here's the first reason cigarettes come back during hard times. They were your old coping mechanism. For months or years, whenever something difficult happened to you, you smoked. That's how you dealt with stress, pain, anxiety, anger, and sadness. Your brain learned a pattern. Difficult emotion equals cigarette, over and over again, thousands of times. That pattern doesn't just disappear when you quit. It's still there, buried in your memory. So when you face a hard time after quitting, your brain automatically reaches for the old solution. It's not even a conscious choice, it's a reflex. Think about it like a muscle memory. If you played piano as a kid and you sit down at a piano 20 years later, your fingers might remember some of the movements. Your brain stored that pattern. The same thing happened with smoking. The pattern of when I'm stressed, I smoke is stored deep in your brain. And when stress hits, the old pattern tries to activate. This is why so many people relapse during hard times. Not because they're weak, but because their brain is defaulting to the old programming. The problem is, you never replaced that coping mechanism with something else. You just removed smoking and left a gap. When hard times come and you need a way to cope, there's nothing there. So your brain says, remember what used to work, cigarettes. The second reason is emotional memory. You don't just remember that you smoked during hard times, you remember how it felt. You remember the relief, the comfort, the sense of control. These memories are powerful. They're stored with emotion attached to them. And emotions make memories stronger. So when you're going through something difficult, your brain doesn't just think, I used to smoke. It remembers, smoking made me feel better. Even though you know logically that cigarettes don't actually help, the emotional memory is saying, yes, they do. Remember how good it felt. This is the romanticizing that happens after you quit. You forget all the bad parts, the smell, the cost, the guilt, the health effects. You only remember the moments when smoking felt like it helped. Your brain is lying to you. It's showing you a highlight reel of smoking, not the full picture. But in a moment of stress, you believe the lie. And here's what makes it worse. During hard times, your defenses are down. You're already struggling. Your willpower is depleted. Your rational brain is overwhelmed. So that emotional memory has more power than usual. It's easier to believe the lie that cigarettes will help. This is when people think, just one cigarette to get through this. I'll just smoke one cigarette. They're reaching for that emotional memory of relief. But what they forget is that one cigarette doesn't stay one cigarette. It reactivates the whole addiction. The third reason cigarettes come back is because hard times make you feel out of control, and smoking gives you a false sense of control. When everything in your life feels chaotic, when you can't control the situation, when you feel helpless, smoking becomes something you can control. You can decide to smoke, you can go through the ritual, you can create a moment that feels like it's yours. That's why people say, I just needed a moment for myself when they relapse. They're looking for something they can control in a situation where they feel powerless. But here's the irony. Smoking isn't control. It's the opposite. It's giving control back to the addiction. Real control will be choosing not to smoke despite the difficulty. But in the moment, smoking feels like the easier option. The thing you can do right now to feel better. It's a false solution to a real problem. You do need control. You do need to feel like you can handle things. But cigarettes aren't the answer. They just distract you temporarily while making everything worse in the long run. And this is exactly what I address in my 14-day program. We don't just help you quit, we teach you real coping strategies for hard times so you don't default back to cigarettes when life gets difficult. If you're tired of the cycle of quitting and relapsing, if you want tools that actually work during the hardest moments, book a free call with me. The link is in the description below. Let me show you how to stay free even when life gets hard. Here's the fourth reason. Hard times give you permission to smoke again. When things are going well and you quit, you feel strong, you feel committed. You wouldn't dream of smoking. But when something terrible happens, you give yourself permission. You think, I'm going through so much right now, I deserve this. Or this is too hard to deal with without smoking. You lower your standards for yourself because of the circumstances. You make an exception, and in that moment, it feels justified. You think anyone would understand why I'm smoking right now. But here's the problem. Giving yourself permission once makes it easier to give yourself permission again and again. Hard times don't last forever, but if you use your hard times as an excuse to smoke, you'll find that there's always something. Life always has challenges. There will always be a reason. Soon you're not just smoking during hard times, you're smoking again, period. Because you opened the door. The truth is, hard times are exactly when you need to stay quiet the most, because going back to smoking just adds another problem to whatever you're already dealing with. Now you're dealing with the original problem, plus the guilt of relapsing, plus the physical effects of smoking again, plus the financial cost, plus the loss of all your progress. Smoking doesn't make hard times easier, it makes them harder. The fifth reason cigarettes come back is simple. You never learned new ways to cope when you quit. If you just stop smoking without building new coping skills, you're vulnerable. Because stress doesn't stop, life doesn't stop. You need actual tools, strategy for handling difficult emotions without cigarettes, deep breathing exercises that actually calm your nervous system, physical movement to process stress, calling someone you trust to talk through problems, journaling to process emotions, taking a walk, taking a shower, anything that gives you a healthy way to cope. But most people don't prepare these tools in advance. So when hard times hit, they have nothing to reach for except the old habit. It's like trying to build a house during a tornado. You can't figure out new coping strategies in the middle of a crisis. You need to have them ready beforehand. This is why preparation is everything. Before hard times come, you need to know exactly what you'll do instead of smoking. When you feel stressed, you'll do X. When you feel overwhelmed, you'll do Y. When you feel like you can't cope, you'll do Z. Having a plan removes the decision making in the moment. You just follow the plan. Without a plan, your brain will default to what it knows, and what it knows is smoking. So, how do you actually stay quiet when hard times come? First, expect that hard times will happen. Don't be surprised by them. Life will always have challenges. That's normal, so plan for it. Second, build your coping tools now before you need them. Practice deep breathing when you're calm so you know how to do it when you're stressed. Figure out who you can call, identify what activities help you feel better, and third, remember why you quit. Keep your reasons visible, write them down, look at them when you're struggling, reconnect with your motivation. Fourth, play the tape forward. When you think, oh, one cigarette will help, imagine what happens next. You smoke, you feel guilty, you smoke again, you're back to being addicted. Is that really what you want? And fifth, reach out for support. Don't try to handle everything alone. Talk to someone who understands. Get help before you relapse, not after. 6, remind yourself that cigarettes don't actually solve anything. They don't make the hard situation go away. They don't fix the problem. They just distract you temporarily and add a new problem. And finally, be kind to yourself. Hard times are hard. You're not weak for struggling. You're a human being. But struggling doesn't mean you have to smoke. It means you need support, not cigarettes. The strongest thing you can do during hard times is not smoke. That's when you prove to yourself that you're really free. So now you know why cigarettes reappear during hard times. Old coping patterns, emotional memories, searching for control, giving yourself permission, and lack of new tools. But you also know how to prevent it. Prepare your tools, remember your reasons, and reach out for support. If you need help building those tools and staying quiet through anything life throws at you, click the link and book a call. Subscribe for more on staying free from smoking, and thanks for watching.